Hi, this is Laura, and I got the pamphlet I promised for parents, a guide for families with SIRMIR Inc., Illinois Coalition Against Sexual Assault. The introduction, it provides basic information about the issues of child sexual abuse and services available for your child, yourself, and your family. When your child is sexually abused, you want to be helpful, but you may not know how to handle the problem or what to expect from the agencies that may become involved in the case. Now, this is applicable to any state in the USA. If parents of child sexual abuse victims understand what has happened to their child and know what to expect, they are often better able to help their child recover from the abuse, which is true because most people don't understand, and so they blame the child, which isn't good. What to do? One of the most helpful things you can do is find information and support for yourself and your child. Being informed will help you make good decisions. It is also helpful to talk with your child and let them be involved in decisions. This will help the child regain a sense of control. Remember that even though your child may not have physical injuries, your child may be upset, afraid, or worried. It is not easy to discuss the abuse, but your child may not worry as much if you talk about it. Your child needs to know that you are not afraid and that you are listening to what is said. Okay? That's very important. Very important. Okay. What is child sexual abuse? In the broadest definition, child sexual abuse may refer to any forced or coerced sexual activity involving a child, sexual contact between a child and another person, whether it is an adult or another child. I'm making that point very clear. Adult or another child, in which treats, bribes, or other tricks are used to get the child to participate in the activity. Any sexual contact between an adult and a child. Some sexual abuse is not physically violent. It can include 1, sexual talk, 2, exposure of sexual body parts or exposure to sex acts, 3, voyeurism or peeping activities. Voyeurism is when they like to see stuff a lot. Child pornography, encouraging or promoting child prostitution. You should take any of these behaviors seriously and report them to law enforcement. Often the abuser will persuade the child to cooperate and to keep the abuse a secret. This persuasion may involve the promise of special treats or privileges or treats of physical punishment or threats, of physical punishment and other consequences to loved ones or pets. Yeah, they might say, okay, I'm going to get your dog, I'm going to hurt your dog, especially if you love your dog. So, that's what they're talking about. Okay, let's go to another page. Now, how should I respond? After learning your child has been sexually abused, try to respond with patience and kindness to your child, yourself, and your family. Try these suggestions. A, help your child to express their feelings. B, do not blame the child for what has happened. C, be honest with your child. Share what you know. D, restore your child's sense of control. Allow the child to help decide what to do. E, do not push your child to talk about the experience if the subject comes up. Discuss it honestly and openly. F, maintain routines and return to your family's usual activities as soon as possible. Don't become too protective of your child. G, give your child safety information. Help the child identify safe people to go to when scared or sad. The next one, pay attention to the needs of other children in your household. Give them the information and support that they need. H, that was H. And then I, discuss your feelings with someone you trust, such as a friend, relative, or counselor. This is not a time for you to be tough. It is a good time to seek support for yourself. Where can I get help? From a rape crisis center. You can call a rape crisis center for advice and help. Phone numbers are listed at the end of this booklet for the state of Illinois, though. And RAIN, R-A-I-N-N, is another organization, which is a larger organization and more worldwide. Each crisis center has workers that can help you get medical care and legal advocacy. Centers also provide case management and, and ongoing individual and family counseling services. These services are free and confidential to victims and their friends and family. Crisis Center staff and volunteers can help you report the abuse to police and DCFS and can provide emotional support for you, your child, and your other family members. Crisis Center advocates can go with you to meetings with law enforcement, the prosecutor, and the DCFS caseworker, as well as attend court with you and your child. Crisis Center counselors, can assist you and your family in the healing, in the healing process after sexual assault. You can see that for yourself, even though I kept trying to get rid of that fly or whatever it was. From a doctor or a hospital. Your child may not appear to be injured, but a medical examiner is needed to check for injuries, sexual transmitted infections, or other evidence of sexual abuse. It is important to preserve any medical evidence of the abuse. Therefore, a sexually abused child should have a complete physical exam by a doctor as soon as possible after the incident occurs, even if you don't learn of the abuse until months later. Okay? So, even if you don't know about it, they should go to the doctor as soon as possible. From the police or DCFS. Okay. Child sexual abuse is a crime and should be reported to your local police department. If the abuser is a parent, teacher, or other caretaker, call the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services at 1-800-25-ABUSE. The hotline worker will tell you if DCFS can help with your child's case. Okay? And like here's a child being examined by the doctor. What happens next? At the hospital emergency room has special kits and procedures to use in sexual abuse cases. You can ask that the hospital call a rape crisis center advocate to provide support to you and your child. Medical staff will examine your child fill out a report and do certain lab tests that might be used as evidence in court. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Your child might also need to see a medical provider for follow-up care. Unless your child is eligible for Medicaid, you should receive a voucher to pay for follow-up care related to the sexual abuse. The voucher is good for 90 days after the emergency room visit. Follow the instructions to the hospital staff. of the hospital staff. Okay. With the police or DCFS, when you call the police, they will take an initial report and schedule an interview, which may be conducted at a Child Advocacy Center, CAC. A Child Protective Services caseworker may also be assigned to the case. The investigator needs to know what happened, where, when, and who else was present at the time. The information will help the investigator decide what to do. Next, the child's statement may be recorded. The investigator will also ask you and your child if you know the offender and if he is a relative. Sometimes victims won't remember every detail in every setting, so don't be alarmed if your child's story of the abuse varies with each telling. At court, if a suspect is arrested, your child may have to go to the courthouse to speak with a prosecutor. The prosecutor will review the results of the medical examination and lab tests, or she will read the statement your child gave to the police and review other information about the incident. The prosecutor will decide whether to file charges against the person who is accused of abusing your child. To make it easier for children to testify against their abusers, testimony may be taken in private rather than in open court and transmitted via court closed-circuit television equipment. A rape crisis advocate can help you and your child prepare for the case. A recording of your child's interview at the police department or CAC may also be used. And they got so many places. Well, you know, Illinois is a big place for you to go, but there are people from all over the world. They will find their places. Okay, so they have a lot of places. And I only wanted it to be about 13 minutes. So this is from SIRMIR. And SIRMIR email is theorashow@gmail.com.